All right, welcome back, everyone, to the Mr. Rent-to-Own Homes channel. My name is Dominic Danino, aka Mr. Rent-to-Own Homes, and today I have a special guest, Giovanna Danino, who's my business partner, and also my sister. She works within the team of the Mr. Rent-to-Own program, and she's going to tell us a little bit about herself. So, welcome, Giovanna.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you here, and introduce yourself to the audience and tell us about yourself. Tell us how you got here into real estate. Tell us a little bit about your journey.
Sure. So, in a previous life, I have been in the space of administrative assistant, executive assistant. So I have a lot of background in office, getting people motivated. I've been involved in sales for many, many years. My position, unfortunately and fortunately for me, was eliminated from the company I was working at that time, which happened to be my last 9-to-5 job. And I was already dabbing a little bit into real estate and a little bit into rehabbing with a coworker who was already in the process of getting her real estate license. And she herself was doing rehabs at that time. And so the opportunity just came up that piqued my interest. And I thought, hey, you know what? She can do it. I can do it too. And so that was my decision. I didn't really have to think about it twice. I was very excited to learn something new. I've always been very passionate about home decor and home design. And so I thought, it'll be easy for me. I know how to decorate and I know how to pick good colors and stuff like that. But little did I know the journey was going to be much, much longer than that. But so I got started with doing a little rehabs, and then I dabbed into wholesaling, became pretty much an investor and learning everything I needed to know about practicing and working on this in the creative finance space. And so I learned a lot on how to be able to become a problem solver. And with that, learning how to be an investor, how to comp properties, and all the first steps that a new investor has to learn the numbers, et cetera, et cetera. I decided that it would be a good idea also to get licensed. So I'm also a licensed real estate agent. I'm also a property manager and a renovation specialist. So little did I know I was going to accumulate a lot of tools in my real estate investor tool belt. So it's been quite the journey.
Excellent. Great story. Thank you for sharing that, right? So there's a couple of tidbits that I want to talk about there, right? So your transition from a corporate world into the real estate space and real estate investing in general, right? So clearly you did a little bit of rehabbing, right? Managing projects and so forth, right? So it's not quite HGTV, is it?
No, not at all. Not at all. I remember my very first rehab. I said to myself, I am going to do whatever I need to do to get this done. So I learned a lot. But I remember at the end of that project, I remember looking at my hands, and I had paint stains, oil stains. I think I had even with our other partner tried to paint a RV gate. I mean, you name it, we did everything. And I remember looking at my hands at the end of that project and thinking, wow, I would have never, ever guessed that I could do this. So I got really excited. So I felt like, okay, let's move on to the next one.
Yeah, so a couple of things, right? So if you don't come from that background in one of the trades, construction, management, or whatever, right? That's a little bit. It was very hands-on for you, wasn't it?
It was really, really hands-on. I mean, I didn't even know what an electrical panel looked like. I was very lucky that I was married to someone who actually handled all of those things in our house. So I never really had to learn, which is not a good idea for women. Women should know these simple, basic things about, being a homeowner and the things that are required to know. But yeah, I didn't know anything. I did not know
You had
anything.
never even changed a light bulb before.
No, absolutely not. I
Right?
did not
Yeah.
know anything.
Yeah. Right. So you had to learn on the fly because, as you know, uh, when you're rehabbing, time is money, right?
Yep.
And the market can shift on you really quick. And it's happened to a lot of people over the last, 18 to 24 months. We know a lot of investors from around the country, a lot of rehabbers, and the shift in the market with rates going up has impacted a lot of people, even to the extent that some of those people are no longer in the business. Uh, because of the shifting market, right? So as the
Yep.
market is going up and rates are cheap, everything's fine and dandy, but the market can shift on you real quick. And that's why it's called investing, because there is risk. There's always risk, right? Like I said, it's not like HGTV where you do a rehab in 30 minutes and you never lose money and everything goes fine and dandy and they offer you over asking price and you make more than what you thought you were gonna make, right? All that fantasy stuff from those shows. They are shows, right? Anyways,
Yep.
so yeah, one thing that I do recall while you were handling your rehabs, right? You were very hands on. You took on the challenge, and you grew from that. You grew from that experience, um, and after you got done, you felt like, okay, I can take on not take on more, but like I'm open to any new challenges, right? Yeah, I feel capable that if I got through that experience, I can learn something new, or I'm not afraid to take on a new challenge anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to walk through that experience and experience all the fears that came with that managing a rehab without any experience whatsoever. But I think one of the things that got me hooked was that I have the ability to actually walk into a distressed home or any home. And in my head, I already know what it could look like with my own taste and my own options and my own choices of doing the rehab. I already know what it will look like very quickly, like in a matter of minutes. So I got very hooked on that high because it's a lot of fun, right? Once you start working and you have the finished product, and you have the pictures of the before and then you have the pictures of the after. You have a lot of fun. Yes, it comes with a lot of challenges and a lot of headaches, but you get better with each project that you do. So either you quit or you keep going, right? And so that's kind of where I found myself, and still going and learning more about rehabs and other areas of real estate investing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's that joy of renovation is like making something, what we call, an ugly house look pretty, right? Prettying
Yep.
it up and seeing the end. I think that's what draws people into it, right? Because everybody by nature probably has some kind of like, oh yeah, I wanna clean this up. I want to make it look nice. I want to make it look good. No, there's that challenge. There's a creativity that's involved in that. That's the fun aspect of that business. And then there's the challenges of dealing with budgets and contractors and timelines and all this juggling that you're doing because you are managing individuals, right? And they all have
Yep.
their own agenda. And your project may be not priority for them, as they got multiple things going on, right? So that is one of the challenges most people get into the industry don't, or when they start, they don't realize, okay, if you don't come from that background, either project management or managing teams, or let alone construction, right? You don't know what to expect, and you're dealing with a lot of personalities, egos, and so forth, right? They all have a different agenda, and that's the challenge of renovation, flipping, and so forth. Not to say that it can't be done, right? It's just either you learn from experience the hard way, or sometimes you need a coach, right? Somebody,
Yep.
you gotta get side by side with somebody that's already been through those, so keeps you out of trouble.
Absolutely. It's important. If you have not ever done any type of rehab, you definitely, my suggestion would be partner up with someone on the first one. Learn all the little challenges that will come along, and then see if you feel comfortable doing it on your own on the second one. You're going to learn, and you have to be prepared that you're going to encounter challenges. You go in thinking that this is your budget and this is what it's going to be like, and sometimes unexpected things come up, and if you're not prepared, you can get stuck. You can get stuck with the property, and worse, not able to sell it right away. And so then all the extra added fees like holdings, et cetera, begin to grow. So it eats up at your earnings, or your, what you're going to put in your pocket, right?
Your profit cuts into your profit the longer you're holding the
Absolutely.
profit, because you're paying maybe hard money rates, or your private investor or private lender, right? So it cuts into your profit. So yeah. Most definitely, right? So now let's take it forward and looking at today, right? So currently you're part of the team. We run a rent to own program, and you're part of that as one of our in-house agents. So tell me, who would you say is your client, or who's your avatar today? Who do you help?
So with our rent to own program, I would say that our perfect avatar is pretty much anyone who has a good W-2 job, or your self-employed business owner who has what's called mattress money, but appears broke on paper. I am currently, in fact, working with a couple, husband and wife. They own a landscaping business, and they certainly make a good income, have a great substantial money down, but they took a hit during COVID, and their credit is a little low, and so they were not able to secure traditional financing. Now they came to us, and so we determined that it will take them about 24 months to actually become bankable. So instead of them having to wait 2 years down the road to start looking for a house, they can actually get into the house that they want now, lock in their price, and start making the house their home. So it's a win-win for everyone. That's one of the beauties about our program, that we create a win-win for everyone involved. Because as we know, maybe 70 to 80% of the American population is not able to walk into a bank and get a mortgage loan. So these are the folks that need more help. Now, not everyone is meant to be a homeowner, and we understand that, but there are folks out there that are a perfect fit for our rent to own program. If they have a stable job, money down, and they just need a little bit of time to get their finances squared away down the road.
So you're saying that somebody that's been turned down by a bank can get a house today?
Absolutely. They can get a house today. Yep. We can get them in a house in 30 days or less.
Wow. Amazing, right? Amazing that there's this other option, other program than the traditional banks. Because as you mentioned, right, 70 to 80% of people that want to buy a home can't qualify for traditional bank financing. The banks say
Absolutely.
no, because the banks are finicky. They want to be in the box, right? They want to keep everybody in the box, but the world has changed, right? The old traditional world from the 50s, where everybody works a 40-hour-a-week job, 9 to 5, and collects a pay stub and a W-2, that's changed. That's no longer the way that things work these days, right? You have a gig economy, call it the gig economy, where everybody's self-employed, a contractor, 1099, right? So either people are delivering food, they're Uber drivers, right? They're doing side gigs, right? People are doing what they can to make ends meet with multiple side hustles, right?
Yep.
Not everybody's the traditional box of 9 to 5, work 40 hours a week. There's a lot more people that are basically self-employed or entrepreneurs. The entrepreneurship has taken off
Absolutely.
over the last 10, 15 years. And so those people have a hard time documenting their income, because banks are used to doing loans for people that work the old-fashioned way. They're not comfortable with the new way people work. They have a hard time documenting it, how they're documenting it, right? Because they view it as unstable. And so because of that reason, people that are getting started or just got started or aren't used to documenting their income or don't know how until it comes time to do their taxes, right? CPAs teach people to write off as much as possible, right? Because people want to pay the least amount of taxes legally as possible. Well, but they don't realize until they go to a bank to apply for a loan that the bank sees that their net is what they get qualified on. So somebody could gross $1 million and write off $1 million, and to the bank, they are broke on paper, right? Absolutely. So they're not going to qualify for anything, right? So now they got to go figure out, okay, how am I going to qualify? I've been wanting to buy a house, right? And I thought I was making $1 million. Well, yeah, your revenue is $1 million, but you didn't net, so they only qualify you on the net. But now that you know that, how do you go fix that? Well, but you still want that house. So we give you the opportunity to get into that house while you're working on that, right? So obviously it takes a conversation with your CPA and say, hey, look, I want to qualify for a house. I'm going to need 2 years to document my income, right? So maybe I need to take a little bit less deductions than you're telling me. Otherwise, I'm never going to be able to get a traditional home loan, right? Either FHA or conventional or even VA loan, right? So that's a discussion that needs to be had with your CPA, so that way you can put a plan in place. And so we can get you into the house now while you're working on that. And then once you're ready, once you're bank ready to qualify, then you can get your own traditional financing and move on, right? So let me ask, so we kind of talking about like what's unique about what you're doing. What would you say is your superpower? What's your genius zone, as I like to use?
Well, I think that for me, my passion of family and service that comes very natural has created my superpower of having the ability to relate to just anyone of any background. And by nature, I love to help people. So service, community, and the ability to relate to just any type of person with any background makes me an immediate friend to them. And that's really what I love, because I am also a foreigner. I also know what it's like to have that American dream, which is the dream of homeownership. So I feel even more passionate about helping people get into a home instead of having to wait or believe that they don't have an option to be homeowners when the opportunity is there. So I believe that that is my superpower. I really do genuinely want to help people. And what better way to help people than to bring the skill sets that I've acquired over the years, and my natural way of just being of service. So I think it's a win-win combination. And I believe that that's what sets me apart from other agents. I do take a very, very genuine interest in trying to solve a specific situation.
Now, you as an agent, what would you say to other agents as to why they should work with you, work with us through our rent-to-own program for the clients that they have that don't qualify for traditional financing?
Well, as an agent right now, I'm going to say it's a very easy, simple answer. We all know as agents that the market shifted. Some were able to still get some leads and make some money, and some not so much. So here's another opportunity to learn a new technique, a new program, add a new tool to your tool belt of a real estate agent, and step outside of your comfort zone. Instead of staying in the traditional how to help someone buy a house who can qualify and list a house, learn how to help more people that actually need the help. Like I mentioned earlier, about 70 to 80% of the American population can't secure traditional financing. So these are the people that need our help. So if anyone has been working or is currently working with anyone who has been turned down for a traditional loan, this could be a great option. This might not be an option. This might not be the first option. It shouldn't be the first option. A buyer should explore all other options out there. And I believe that once they realize that this can be the win-win for them, that that they'll realize that, yeah, they can get into the house that they want instead of having to wait 2, 3, 4 years down the road. So any agent who's struggling right now with a client, a buyer who's not able to secure traditional financing, my contact information is down below. All that it requires is a phone call so that together we can determine what the specific situation is of that buyer. And then we can go ahead and make a determination whether they're a fit for our program or not.
Great point, right? So clearly, I don't think we need to tell agents and lenders that the market has shifted, right? If you don't think that that's happened, you haven't been paying attention. The market has clearly shifted, and we may be in this market, this new market, for years to come. I've heard even potentially the next 10 years, we may be here, right? With rates bouncing around between 6 and 8%, as high as 9. Some people are even saying 10. Not sure about that. And it doesn't really matter. I'm not here to predict the future or rates per se, right? But what we are here to say is, here's another way for you to capture more business, help more people, and make more money, right?
Absolutely.
So our rent-to-own program allows agents to still get paid a commission on deals that they would normally not be able to get paid because the buyer doesn't qualify, right? Or if you have transactions that sometimes, like I said, lenders can be finicky, and maybe you're under escrow, and so the loan is getting submitted to underwriting, and the underwriter doesn't like this explanation or this document or that document or this I or this T, and they turn down the loan. Now you're in escrow, so somebody's earnest money is at risk. What are you doing there? You're going to scramble for somebody that is going to be able to solve that problem. If one lender didn't do it, potentially somebody else may be able to do it. You could potentially take it to another lender, right? But if that doesn't work, we could be a solution where we can step in as the buyer for that transaction and still have that homeowner take place and occupy that property until we can fix and resolve what's keeping them from qualifying. We know that buyers can do crazy things sometimes, right? They'll go out and get new credit, buy a new car, buy furniture because they're going to go fill up the new house. Well, most people don't realize, even though lenders tell them, maybe their agent also counsels them and say, don't take out any new debt, don't go applying for credit, because lenders, a day or two before people are going to sign their documents, lenders check your credit again. And if you did anything, you took out new debt, they have to account for that debt. And now your debt ratios don't work anymore. Your income isn't sufficient enough because you took out a $1,000 payment on a new Tesla or something, right?
Yep.
That throws everything off, and now you got problems. So we could be a solution in that instance as well, and we've done it multiple times for people that
have fallen out of that pre-qualification process.
So we can be while they're in escrow, right? So they got money, the offer's been accepted, earnest money's at risk, and now it's closing time, and they can't close because the lender isn't going to fund the loan.
Yeah.
So, all right, as we continue on, tell me a little bit about what's one of the most creative things you've done in business or in life?
Well, so we were talking about our first rehab. That was the perfect example of where I really learned that creative financing and knowing, or at least having people to consult with, it comes very, very handy. I got involved in this project and I got stuck. Again, it was my first rehab, so I ran into some challenges. Now, the time of the year also did not help me. We were already entering winter, so we were past October, and there was no movement on the sale of the house. We had it listed with an agent, and there was no movement, and so we had a hard money loan, and we were getting very close to the wire. So very quickly we decided that it was the best thing to refinance the property and then do a rent to own arrangement with a buyer. We listed the house as such, as a rent to own, and we were able to get a buyer who needed a little bit of time to get their own loan. And so it was a win-win. It was it was the best transaction that we could have come up with during that time. And so that was, I think, the beginning of us understanding, or me understanding, that rent to own, it's really more beneficial for more people than people realize. People that are wanting to become homeowners and have the ability to secure a house without having to get a loan from the bank are able to become homeowners. So absolutely, yes, rent to own. And that first rehab property was the first time that I had to really dig deep into the creative space.
Yeah, definitely, right? So what basically you're saying is, because you are able to offer a property on rent to own basis, it opens up the door for more people to be able to shop your product, right? Shop your property. Now, it may not be a fit for everybody to sell their property on a rent to own. That's okay, right? But we have done it with other investors who have been caught in the market and can't get it sold, and the crunch is happening. The clock is ticking. Hard money lender is calling, right? There's money due. You can't keep a hard money loan forever. It's either 6 months or 12 months, and you got to do something. You got to dispose this property. So what do we do, right? So we help people say, hey, just refinance it to a long-term hold, like a traditional rental, but don't sell it or don't put in a traditional tenant. You can do a rent to own for somebody that just needs time to qualify, and then they can pay you off in a year or two when they get their financing, and it gives you a different exit, right? So having multiple exits, haven't been through this before, right? Haven't been through the market cycles. Me, haven't been in the industry almost 25 years. Kind of been through it all, right? Been through it, the financial crisis, the dot-com bubble, right? We went through COVID, right? So all this stuff, right? No, nobody can predict the future. We have these black swan events that happen from time to time, that as much as you may be able to predict, or you think you can predict the future, you can't, right? So these are things that are going to happen in the market. The question is, how are you going to pivot? How are you going to adjust? And how are you going to thrive in the new market, right? Because if you're still used to doing things the old way, and you're still trying to do things from the old market when you were getting multiple bids, cash buyers coming in from high price states, right? That those days are over.
Yeah.
Those days are over. You have to be able to pivot and adjust to the new market to stay in the market and be here for the next up cycle. It will come. I don't know whether it'll be next year, in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, but it will come because we do have a shortage of housing.
Yeah.
So, but if you want to have lasting power, we talked about, the challenges for real estate agents and lenders. I think I heard the stat just a couple of days ago that half of loan officers are out of the industry, and probably almost like 40% of real estate agents aren't even doing any transactions anymore.
Yeah.
Everybody just kind of gone because they don't know what to do, because they probably came in during the upcycle and they only were taught and only knew one thing. So for the people that are still around, and you want to learn a new tool and how to help more people with just the pipeline that you have now. You don't even have to create it now. You can market this and say, hey, I have a new program that could help you. If you were turned down by a bank before, reach out to me, call me, and I may be able to have another solution for you. That's something that you could do as an agent to market for new clients. But you can take your same pipeline, if you have a CRM or you do it manually on an Excel, all the clients that you talk to the last 2 to 3 years that were turned down, reach out to them and say, hey, what's your status right now? You still interested? I may have a solution. Let's revisit what your situation was and see maybe we can still get you into a house now today. Because for the people that are waiting for rates to drop, if rates drop, now I hear a lot of people waiting, oh, the rates are going to drop, the rates are going to drop. Well, if you're an entry buyer that doesn't have excess money, when the rates drop, you're going to be competing with everyone else. You're going to be competing with other investors. You think the investors are not going to come back in? They're going to come back in, right? So now they have deeper pockets than you do. And so you're not going to be able to compete. So this is the time to do it. And then if rates drop, great. Now you can refinance. If they don't drop, okay, well, at least you locked in a payment and that you can afford now, and you got a property. Right now, people can negotiate on price, right? Can negotiate on terms, right? People are paying for closing costs because people that are having to sell today are more likely, people that are selling today are more likely people that need to sell. Otherwise, they wouldn't be selling because life happens. People need to, so people say, hey, they're just going to keep not everybody's going to keep their 3% or 3.5% or 4%. People still have to do stuff in life, right? People get divorced, people get job relocations, stuff happens, people get sick, people, all these things happen. People still have to make decisions, and eventually they can't hang on and hang on. They have to make a decision to move to a new job or relocation, or there's a divorce situation where assets have to be split, a house has to be sold. So those types of transactions, those type of sellers are still going to be out there. And those are the ones that are selling right now. So if you're interested in buying, this is a good time, and this is another way for you to get into a home. If you're somebody that's been turned down, or if you're an agent that has clients that are in that situation, you can reach out to Giovanna. Her phone number is underneath, and have a conversation. Maybe that scenario doesn't work, but at least you get an idea of how the program works and who else you can go talk to, other clients that may be a fit.
Absolutely. In fact, I have several agents right now that I'm working with, and they have been able to revive several of their dead leads. So, they're presenting this opportunity, and a couple of them are actually ready to pull the trigger. So, that's what I'm telling all the agents that I talk to on a daily basis. Reach out to your pipeline, go back 24, even 36 months, find out where they're at. All of your dead leads or turn downs, they might be coming back to the buying market. Present that, this other option, and who knows, it might be a fit for them now. So absolutely, it's just a matter of talking about it. Again, every situation is different, so we take the time to really evaluate that specific person's situation so that we can come up with a specific plan for them. So I get calls all the time. Dom, what is rent to own? Giovanna, what is rent to own? It's very simple. Rent to own is simply another pathway to homeownership other than the traditional way. For those homeowners or those aspiring homeowners who are not able to fit in the lender box, in the traditional lender box. But that does not mean that they can't have an opportunity to become homeowners or reach their goal of homeownership. There is a rent-to-own program that can help you out with that.
Excellent. So if I'm an agent out there that may have a situation or a scenario or potentially a client like that, how can I get a hold of you?
Well, very easy. My phone number is 520-222-6542. Give me a call. Let's talk about it. Let's see what your client's issues, situation, challenges are, and then let's come up with a solution.
Excellent. Now, if you're a potential home buyer that's been turned down by a bank but isn't working with an agent and you'd like more information on our rent-to-own program, you can go to our website at rent2ownhomesus.com. And also, what you can do is reach out to me or follow me on IG at Mr. Rent-to-Own Homes. I'm on YouTube as Mr. Rent-to-Own Homes, and now I'm on TikTok too. So I'll be doing some dances on TikTok at Mr. Rent-to-Own Homes. Yes.
Oh, I can't wait to see that.
No, that's not happening. But you can still get a hold of us. Follow us on socials, MrRentToOwnHomes.com. And My phone number is 602-644-1606. Our information is on the description in this video and on our YouTube page. So until next time, thank you for spending a few minutes with us. Giovanna's introduction to our market and to other clients. We look forward to hearing from you. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.